some of the key features that we're going to be talking about. You can see these are racks. These are rear justified to the actual containment system. This is the containment frame, clear ceiling with the chimneys that Peter Rumsey was speaking about. One of the other key components, I heard someone say, well, what about when there's no rack there? These are actually vertical blanking systems. So when you've got the next rack to move in, or next series of racks, I don't care what size they are, what U height they are, or what width or what depth, you can take out the appropriate amount of blanking panels, slide in your next racks, and reseal up the enclosure. Made it very flexible. Obviously, these are all interchangeable, and it allows you to do something like this. Now, historically, most data centers or most users are going to go in, probably have similar racks. May not all be the same manufacturer, but probably all be the same size. This is just showing worst case scenario at different heights. You know, we targeted to be able to roll in a 51U rack on casters, fit it in, and get it in place without having any barriers. Obviously, on top of the rack, you can see some more blanking, just to make sure that we've sealed the top of the rack. What we've talked about in the chimneys, a variety of chimneys. There's actually extra places. If you need to be able to expand, you can do that.
Do those blanking panels remove entirely, or do they flip out?
The vertical, you're talking
vertical
vertical
blanking panels, yeah.
Yeah, they remove entirely.
Okay.
Actually, on the end is a storage location for them. So if you wanted to store enough for a few racks nearby, you could. Yes, sir.
Local jurisdiction, fire suppression.
Yeah, it's certainly an issue. I'm sure Bob can speak to it. Every AHJ, as you know, in a different region is going to be able to interpret that different. You know, we can have access plumbed into any one of these panels to be able to stick suppression detection. So that is an issue. Thank you for bringing that up. Yes, sir.
Is that space for 2x4 lighting there? How do you get lighting?
Well, excellent question. One of the things that we wanted to make sure we could do, and we actually did some initial ambient light studies from ideal locations where lights would be placed. The ceiling is all clear. It's optically clear. It's Lexan, and it's actually has the capability of somewhat of an accordion, so you can actually adjust it to the size. So if you needed to move it out, take it down, you could do it in the individual components. But it's not set up to have individual lights. You could put a light in there in a space if you needed to. But with the vertical blanking and the clear roof, we think we get enough light in there.
You showed that you can have chimneys all the way across, so now are you less than chimneys?
Actually, it's 4 foot wide. The chimneys are 2 foot wide. So you got a foot band down each side, as well as on top of all the racks. So, and again, you are alluding to an issue depending on the angle of where the light is, but normally you'd have it up. Yes, sir.
Normally when you do hot out containment, you're assuming that the backs are off the cabinets. What do you do for security if it's not the same company in that particular module? Are you allowing them to have their own doors on the back of their cabinet?
If you want to leave the doors on the back of the cabinet, you can. We're not sealing we're not sealing around where the door would have been. We're sealing to the top and to the sides. So you would perform standard baying of your cabinets if you were so inclined to bay them together. And we're actually going to drop what will look close to like a Venetian blind to the top of it.
So you would use the customer's rear door from a security perspective?
Correct. If you wanted to secure like just this rack, you know, I want to keep the rear door on it because I want to be able to lock it, you could do that. Any other questions? Yes, sir.
How about sprinkler system?
Excuse me?
How do you deal with sprinkler system?
How do I deal with a sprinkler system?
Yeah,
Fire. Same issue as same question as I just answered up here. I should have repeated it, but the whole idea of sprinkler system is in any one of these access points, you could drop a sprinkler down and penetrate. The actual Lexan plastic, standard Greenlee, you can put a punch in it. Small escutcheon down into the containment system, and it's relatively flat on the top side, inside the facility, inside the room. This is just giving you an idea of what it looks like loaded. Point to your issue. We would expect light, ambient light, to be entering the aisles like this, and that's the actual picture of the unit that you're going to see today. In its real form, I'm not sure how many cabinets we ended up putting on it today, but the whole idea of the vertical blanking sitting in with cabinets, and we actually toyed with the idea for the one you see today with clear chimneys, or at least a steel frame with clear sides. We've actually migrated away from that and gone to an entire steel chimney.
So did you work with Rumsey to determine what the required percent of air containment that would be versus just doing, the standard fireproof butcher hanging stuff that would be probably an order of magnitude cheaper?
Yeah, I mean, some of the key requirements is it's not rack integrated and it needed to be a freestanding environment. Certainly we were with Rumsey. It was one of the key contributors to the product and to the collaboration effort to get the product to the finished design. Being able to have a certain amount of flexibility for moving racks in and out, being able to reseal it relatively quickly, and have the flexibility drove the design to a freestanding frame and some sort of blanking system.
I was just asking, was there analysis done with like the hanging curtain stuff? Because it has all the flexibility you're talking about, but the seal is probably 90%.
Yeah, I mean, some of the I don't see the blanking curtains getting that kind of seal level. And this, don't mistake, this is not 100% airtight. It's not meant to be 100% airtight. In fact, it was designed to have leakage depending on the pull in the chimney. So we wanted some amount of leakage in the system. So leakage is not totally bad.
What's your metric in cost? I guess it goes back to what's your ROI? So you say, let's say we have a PUE of 1.12. We're typically dealing with about $25 a view, let's say, for a standard rack, maybe Wright line or ABC here. Just a baseline rack, not getting up into some of the higher cabinets.
Yeah.
But what's your dollars per view metric or other things like that? How's that skew and what's your ROI based?
I mean, as far as for containment.
Right, so you look at the system and you go, boy, we're paying about $1,200 a rack, including containment. And now we're paying some other dollar amount, but we're saving CapEx rock. Well, we're spending CapEx rock now.
Right.
And what ROI model are you using? How long is it?
I mean, we can look at a bunch of different ROIs, but even in a legacy environment where you're going to have a containment system connected up to legacy cracks, your ROI is going to be based on the amount of reduction of fan energy, right? And we saw in the ADC model, their fan energy is significantly reduced, and that's really where the ROI is coming from, is less fan energy.
So a fully populated data center, is it 3 years, 4 years?
Oh, to adopt this? I can easily show you some ROI tools that we have that will be able to put a megawatt class data center in a 1-year payback for adopting a heat containment methodology. And that's just based on the reduction of your energy consumption or cracks in a legacy system. Any other questions?